Okay. This is episode 55, and this is one of those episodes where we're going to take a look back. It's a bit of a special episode, but just flowing in with our normal kind of weekly podcast. I'm Jamie Michael Joseph. As always, I'm joined by Mark Tanner. This is the Strategy and Conversions podcast. Now, Mark, around this time last year, we did a special episode.
Yeah, we did.
Right? I was going to say, you put me on the spot, right? Because we kind of said, okay, look, let's look at what the trends are going to be for business, for marketing, for sales in 2022. In all fairness, before we press record, you kind of said, look, these are the kind of things I'm going to ask you. So I was like, okay, and then we hit record, and I'm just like, I'm answering and as I'm going along and stuff like that.
I gave you all of 30 seconds to think about your answers.
That, yeah. But I thought what would be really cool is to kind of look at that episode, basically just a quick review and maybe look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. What I kind of said there, what is still applicable today, what didn't really happen or anything like that. But more importantly, look at where we are now and look ahead to 2023.
Yeah, that's good. Sounds good to me.
That's cool. So what I'm going to say to start off with is this episode that we had, I think it was called Predictions for Predictions and Trends for 2022. And it was between episode 37 and episode 38. So what I am going to say is definitely just bookmark that and go and listen to that episode at some point, because we're going to run through some of it today, but we're going to quickly go through it. But that episode to me was so valuable. I actually listened to it last night just because I knew we were going to be talking about it, and I wanted to see, if I really got caught out and stuff like that. So I had a little kind of listen through, and I was just like, do you know what? This right here it's a masterclass in strategic marketing. Right? There's so much stuff going on in there where you're just like, yeah, do you know what? This is still relevant. This is still relevant going into 2023 and probably beyond. So, I mean, my recommendation, look, definitely go and check out that episode, because the value that it will give you will even just to kind of come up with different kind of thought processes and different concepts is going to help you just to get things moving. Really powerful episode. But yeah, like I said, we will run through just a few bits then. So the first thing that I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to take this as being like half a point mark, right? So you might mark me down on this, but this was a good one. Now, we had a conversation on that episode, and we had actually had a conversation on a podcast episode before that, where I said I've been really bullish over the years on someone like Amazon, right, having a social media platform, right? So, and what I said by that, right, is I said, look, I think Amazon will do something, right? I don't know what they will do something big, right, moving forward. And in the episode, I said they should buy Twitter.
Yeah.
Right. So, and going back to an episode before, I said I've always kind of had this thing that, Twitter needs to do something. They need to do something big. I think it's there for the taking for a big brand to come in to buy it. I stacked my chips on Amazon, but Elon Musk came around, right, and just said, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. And it's quite, I remember when I heard that Elon Musk was bidding on Twitter, and I thought, well, that makes perfect sense, because, the whole communication is a huge part, isn't there, of what happens in the world at the moment. And Twitter is still a huge platform. Loads of people use it. And I know Mr. Trump's had his little flirtation with it, and I think Elon Musk has allowed him back in now or something. And he was trying to set up his own social media thing, wasn't he? I can't remember what it was called now. And so when he bid for it, I remember thinking, well, I can see why. I can understand why that he wants to have a controlling hand in a different media platform, and then guide it in the way that he wants it to be.
That's a massive part, isn't it? Guide it in the way that he wants it to be. Like he's an intelligent guy, Elon. I think, as much as you love him or hate him, whichever side of the fence you're on and stuff like that, you have to admire the way and how he grows businesses and he gets people on side and all this kind of stuff. Twitter was a big one. I think obviously he went in and said, I'll buy it. And then it kind of come to the light that there's a lot of fake profiles on there and bots and all this kind of stuff, which is quite interesting, because we spoke about this before as well about, what kind of data are you taking? Because some of it can be, kind of played with in a certain way, which, you're not seeing. which stuff like that with bots and everything. And even with this is a different kind of realm to get into now, but the likes of Google ads and stuff like that. When you run Google ads, it's like there's a high percentage of bots that actually click on your ad, rather than people. So it's like you're just wasting money through bots and stuff like that. But yeah, that's for a different episode. But yeah, I'm going to take half a point on that one.
I'll give you that. Yeah,
it's
a
funny,
big name.
one.
A big name took Twitter. That's fair enough.
Yeah. I think that what I'm saying now is, as well is obviously it said look, Twitter has to do something, right?
Yeah.
And when we did the predictions episode, we kind of went into it in a bit of detail where we said, look, we're not going to look at platforms here because platforms are changing all the time.
Yeah.
And I think we're still seeing that now. We were having a little conversation about LinkedIn, and LinkedIn still kind of not knowing their place. It's kind of they're B2B, they're for recruiters, and then they've got their creator fund that they've kind of set up, and and it's like they're kind of wanting people to kind of be more individual and create content for the platform, but then people aren't adopting it, and they're saying it's more for kind of serious business and stuff like this. So I think it's all over the place. I think we see we see the likes of Instagram this year. They've kind of gone, we want to be more like TikTok, and kind of take some of that.
Yeah, they have changed. Yeah,
some of that audience away, and I think Facebook is always kind of trying different things, and stuff like that. So I think you'll never catch up. You never, be on a level where you can say, yeah, I totally get everything what's going on. I beat the algorithms and stuff like that, because as soon as you do, it changes, and it's like, I think it's more of a case of, look, if you look at the strategic play, you can look at your tactics, and then all these platforms, that tools that you can use in any way to obviously work for you. And that's how we kind of spoke on the last one. And we kind of looked at, let's go with the one thing that we said, the big overall trend. All right. So when we kind of went through a whole kind of hour, whatever it was, we kind of narrowed it down. I think we both said it, as we were talking, and we both backed video being the kind of biggest marketing trend for 2022. And I think we have to say 100% that is what we've seen.
It's huge.
I think you've seen TikTok take off with the kind of videos. I think we've seen then, Instagram and Facebook kind of open up then with more video. We mentioned it on that episode as well, that YouTube have just come out with shorts, so they've still got that kind of going. They're spending a lot of money promoting that. Funny story, actually. I kind of, back in like September, I was playing around with YouTube. It might have been a bit before that, actually, I can't remember now. And I was talking with this client that they wanted to set up YouTube as a bit of a passive income kind of source. And it was like, okay, let's have a look at this kind of shorts side, and set up a channel, brand new channel, started from scratch, took little clips of videos and stuff like that. So little kind of short inspirational videos, put it onto a brand new YouTube channel. Within the space of a month, 48,000 views. It was just from these shorts, because YouTube were giving so much weight to these shorts that as soon as you put it out there, they're showing it to people. Whereas you can go on to Facebook or something like that, you can put a reel on there. Yeah, and people probably aren't going to watch it in a month's time.
No, exactly.
But even today, I check it, and it's still doing kind of like 200 views a month, on the shorts that were already there. So I only put stuff out, I put stuff out once a day for a month, right? So about 30 videos, maybe a little bit more, just to make sure that we would get those views, straight away. Yeah. But I haven't done anything with it, I haven't promoted it, anything like that, and it still gets like 200 views each month, And it's just like it's there, that these tools are there for you to go and use. But and the good thing there as well with video is that it was it was faceless, right? So it wasn't me talking to camera, it was different videos, different inspirational quotes and stuff like that, so you can do this without it actually being you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's interesting you talk about the YouTube shorts, because I play cricket, and I get my Facebook gets full of these little YouTube shorts for cricket, where it's just set to music, and there's somebody bowling or a big hit or something in the India leagues or the T20 or something. But again, there's no one particular person. There's no face to it. There's not even a commentary to it some of the time. Just music. There's been huge. I've seen a huge uptake on that. And isn't it funny how LinkedIn tried to play with video and never really quite? Again, as we said earlier, LinkedIn are I don't think they quite know what what they are, what their real identities. They had a clear years ago when it first came out. It was absolutely clear that's what they did. It was all about recruitment and stuff, and then it's all changed and it's B2B and it became really quite serious and B2B. Then it tried to be a little bit more Facebooky, and the B2B people didn't like it, but the Facebook type people liked it. And then they tried to do this. Well, they called LinkedIn Lives, weren't they, or something? I can't remember. As
Yeah,
opposed to
I think
Facebook Lives.
they
And
still
I
have
think
some sort of element.
they're still around, but they're just not. I don't think many people. Well, in my circle anyway, I don't see many people using them to any great effect. And I know from a copywriting point of view, for me, it's still about copy. A lot of people reading copy, and on the again going back, I know just the connection using it as a marketing tool is coming away now from just putting out posts every day, and more about commenting on other people's posts and connecting with people and actually building a relationship that way. So it's weird. I'm not sure how that's changing. Maybe that's one that's going to be right for taking over as a social media
And
platform.
yeah,
Who
I mean,
knows?
do you know what as well? I mean, LinkedIn is massive. You know,
Yeah.
it's worth a lot of money and stuff. I mean, Microsoft bought it, the other year, so
Of
it's
course,
like,
yeah, that's right.
so there's still like that. And again, I had my theories on that. I thought there would be some sort of I know they have like the Sales Navigator and stuff like that, but I thought there would be some kind of link up with Microsoft where you would only get a premium profile on LinkedIn if you had like the Office 365 kind of stuff,
Yeah,
like that kind of thing. Which again, I think it's just more they bought it for the data. Obviously, that's what
yeah, of
they kind of
course, yeah,
bought it with, right? We've seen ads come out, increase in basically what they do on LinkedIn and stuff like that. So obviously they've looked at how they generate income from it, and stuff like that. I do think from looking at the kind of major platforms, if we looked at Facebook, we looked at Instagram, I'm going to put LinkedIn in there as well. Twitter on the fence, obviously with Elon, and then I think YouTube. I think we still put YouTube as a bit of a social media platform. I know there are others, Pinterest and Snapchat and stuff like that, but I think they're kind of next row down. I think we will see some sort of platform enter into, that top five.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting because Trump tried it, didn't he, with his I can't
Mm.
remember what his platform's called, his
I can't
social
remember
media.
what it's called.
But yeah, exactly. So it shows how effective it was. But um, obviously wasn't executed in the right way or whatever. But I think you're right. It's a lot of people are getting not disillusioned, but they want something new. They're looking for something new. Always, aren't they? People always looking for something new. What can we do new? What can we do differently? And I think you're right. There could be. There's lots of these. There are lots of different, as you say, lots of things, social media platforms bubbling under, but they're not very well known. But
Yeah.
a major player could bring one into the fore, I think. But
You think as well,
yeah,
if we take TikTok,
mm,
I mean, a lot of people think, oh yeah, TikTok, it's been around for a couple of years. I mean, TikTok has been around for ages. It's been around for like a decade,
yeah,
and it was called Musically, or
yes, I remember you saying, yeah, yeah,
music.ly,
yeah,
and it had users and stuff like that, and people used it, and it got sold off, and then people, whichever company bought it, they pumped a lot of money into obviously, getting it to where it is now and stuff like that. And I think we will see TikTok, kind of increase on what they're doing. I think we will see a lot of kind of sales happen and stuff like that, a lot of kind of integration
yeah,
within that platform. I think it's got to that point as well where it's kind of that there is a grown-up element to it as well. So it used to be a case of all kind of silly things and fun things and stuff like
yeah,
that, where you are getting people now talk about business and talk about things like that. Now, I know from, being in the game and stuff like that, is I know that a lot of these people, they aren't sat on TikTok creating content for it. They're making content somewhere, it's being chopped up somewhere else, and
and it's
they're
been,
repurposing it
yeah,
onto
yeah,
TikTok and
yeah,
stuff like that. So, it is a bit of and is that happening on a lot of places? Yes, but you will see a lot more people kind of more active on the likes of LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, themselves. Whereas they're not interested on going through the whole kind of TikTok and connecting and all this kind of stuff, because it's that kind of bridge between Instagram and YouTube. I think that middle ground is kind of TikTok, but
yeah,
I think we will see it kind of explode. But yeah, I think something else could pop in. So obviously that row of different kind of social platforms, it only takes one to become cool with the kids, or knocking everyone off the top because it comes up with a cool feature. Or, you know,
Yeah.
like now with Twitter, is that maybe it gives the free speech, you know?
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah, and that's because there's an awful lot of people who want to air their opinions at the moment about all sorts of different things going on. And yeah, so the and that's what Elon's trying to do. Isn't it? He said he wants to bring back that platform of free speech, and
And
uh,
we do say that. I mean, we see Facebook, you know, them coming out with a lot of stuff where they kind of have fact checks and bans and
yeah,
all stuff
yeah,
like that. And we're also seeing YouTube stopping videos and stuff like that if they don't agree with what's going on. So yeah, and then we've seen the likes of Rumble, which is a video platform, come around, which kind of lets anything go. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens there. You know, what kind of social media platform comes through, or if any do. You know, or what that feature may be.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. So yeah, 2023. Look at that. What? So just talking about that, do you have an idea what the intention of that new platform would be? Would it be to replace, or would it be to niche, or would it be to just try and be just something new with different features?
I think, mate, if I really knew, then I feel like I
You'd
could
be
be,
there, yeah.
yeah, I think I could be making a lot of money to do it. I think it's
Yeah,
really
fair
strange
enough.
because, you know, I think even I find it really strange that, I mean, we spoke about this on the predictions episode where we said about Clubhouse.
Yeah,
So Clubhouse
yeah,
will kind of disappear, which it kind of has. People are still using
yeah,
it
yeah,
and stuff like that,
yeah,
but it's kind of gone, right? And it's weird to see the likes of Snapchat is still around.
yeah. I know.
People are still using it and really using it as well. And even using it for business and stuff like that. And it's like, it was big in the States. It was big, you know, and it didn't really take off the same in the UK, but it still has a lot of users in the UK.
Mm.
You know, and again, on the younger kind of side as well. So I think maybe that's what we will see is maybe it's just a case of, I think like we kind of see it with Facebook. You know, people will say, oh yeah, the kids aren't on Facebook or stuff like that, with Gen Z aren't on Facebook. They are still the biggest platform with users on and stuff like that. But I think what happens then is it's because their parents are on there, their grandparents, all this kind of stuff. They want a bit of independence, so they kind of move to another platform, and it was Instagram, and then you know Snapchat, and then TikTok. So now that TikTok is having more users and stuff like that, maybe it's another one for the kind of younger, the kind of age
Yeah,
range to
yeah,
go on
yeah,
to.
yeah.
You know, maybe that there is I think maybe there is an opportunity there for a B2B platform.
Yeah, I was thinking that as I was asking you that question because, as I say, LinkedIn has kind of lost its identity a little bit, and I think that from what I've seen, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of business owners who want a serious platform again,
Mm,
and they found that LinkedIn has kind of been a little bit watered down, and but the trouble is you've got to be very careful it doesn't become a typical stuffy platform when
yeah.
it's just business owners talking about things. And I think that that's a danger that it can be just the same old stuff being just rolled out time and time again and nothing really innovative. So it needs to if it's going to be a B2B platform, it's got to be one that's innovative and creative as well as just talking about well in talking about businesses, talk about business creatively and innovatively, as opposed to just the same old, you know, the same old stuff that has been going round and round and round. New thinking, I think, is probably what the thing I'm
I
thinking
think you're
of.
right, mate. I think, you know, in one podcast episode as well, we kind of did a whole episode on innovation. And I think it
Yeah,
is that it's how it evolves to that next kind of level. And it is strange, but I think what you're saying there as well is I think there's probably a good gap as well for business people to create some sort of membership mastermind, something like that, which is a bit of like a social platform. There's people on it. It's quite niche in regards to it's a small number of people, but they can actually
yeah,
have serious conversations about things, you know. Whereas if you
yeah,
go onto LinkedIn, you know that if you took, I don't know, 30 posts or something like that, more than half of them are going to be salesy, right? You know, they're
yeah,
going to be the ones where people are just trying to sell stuff, or people are going to say, "Hey, look at me, aren't I great?" That kind of thing, you know. And then probably half of them as well is if you actually went a bit deeper, the people aren't bringing any kind of substance to the table. You know, they're
no,
kind
yeah,
of, you know, fake, not fake. That's the wrong word, but you know, inexperienced in what they're
yeah,
actually saying that they do and stuff like that, or new to business. You know. So I think there's that kind of thing where you might get people then who go, I want to have a serious conversation with people about how, bounce some ideas about how I go from 750,000 to a million five in my business. You know,
Yeah.
I want those kind of conversations without someone saying, "Oh yeah, I can,
Yeah.
I can do this service for you."
Mm.
And it's this and it's that, and it's like, yeah, but let's look at the bigger picture rather than just what's in it for you. So I think there's definitely that side that could be useful to people and stuff like that. I think do I know what I think will happen with a social platform? I don't, but I do think that it's there for the taking, that different platforms can come into it and stuff like that. I think it all just comes back to where they make their money. So you think with
Yeah.
TikTok, like it is a really interesting thing. I was reading a story on Twitter, about Twitter, before when Elon was kind of buying it and stuff like that, and it was insane how much money it lost for like the first 10 years. And it's just people just chucking money at it, growing it and stuff like that. And the same thing happened really with Facebook. Is
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
go for like
That's
venture
right.
capitals, capitalists and stuff like that, and they get investment and they kind of grow this platform to a point where they've got all the attention.
Yeah.
Right. So once they've got all the attention, that's the real estate there, is that attention is where the money is. They can start going, yeah, we have all this data, we can run ads, we can do this. That's how they make their money, right?
Yeah.
And it's like someone challenging that has to come through with deep pockets, too deep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. Be interesting to see what happens on that front. But yeah. So, where else do you think you scored for your predictions on
Well,
2022 then?
this is the thing, right? So again, we talked a lot from a strategic point of view.
Yeah.
Right. So if we really looked into it, I mean, the first kind of three we looked at where it was like, look, these are musts moving into 2022. We looked at speed, and that speed being in regards to delivery from through acquisition, really. So usually as a box ticking exercise, that people want things now. They don't necessarily want the job done now, but they want to make sure that it's kind of booked in, it's boxed in. So if you're
Yeah.
kind of like, if you're say a plumber, I think this is the kind of thing that we talked about as well, is that, look, if you're a plumber and someone messages you and they want something fixed and you say, okay, I can book it in tomorrow afternoon, they're happy at that point. They've boxed it, they've booked it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So look, they've booked it in. So once they've booked it in, that box is ticked, they're happy with it.
Yeah.
All right, so they want that speed in regards to, okay, it's been done, it's boxed off. Well, I think if you go back a few years ago, that may be a bit longer. People may wait a little bit longer. Now they don't want to wait. No one wants to wait for anything. We're seeing we've seen Amazon explode over the past couple of years, where people want stuff the next day. So that speed, the more, and this goes in as well to like a service. I mean, if you're like, say, if you're a personal trainer and you're helping people lose weight, and you say, look, come and work with me, and I don't know how long it's going to take, but if you work with me, we're going to help you drop, a stone or whatever it is. All right, but people are going to be like, okay, well, how long is that going to take?
Yeah.
Because how long am I paying for? How long am I doing this and everything like that? Whereas if you can say, look, you come and work with me for 12 weeks, you're going to drop a stone, you're going to feel better, you're going to do this. It's like all of a sudden it's tangible. It's 12 weeks there, And if we can make that shorter, if we can go, look, within 2 weeks, you're going to feel like this, you're going to lose that. Within the next 2 weeks, you're going to do this. All of a sudden now people are like, okay, I can see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that speed, then this is why I say, look, go and listen to that episode again, because I think that will just continue through. I think things are just speeding up. So I think that there is, we don't want to speed things up in a way where, you kind of have that thing, don't you, of fast, free, and good. It's like you can only pick two of them. So
Yeah.
you can have something that's fast. Is it the cheap, fast, and good?
Cheap, fast, and good. Yeah.
So it's like you want something, good and fast. It won't be cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. I get
that kind of thing. Is like, what we're not saying is, do something with speed just to get it done.
Yeah, because I think you have to be wary with speed, because you can't make false promises as well.
Exactly.
And we've got to be very careful with that.
Yeah. But it's like, if we can actually, let people know how things work and how we can deliver, then definitely, and it's just like the way you kind of look at it this way is that, I mean, it's probably quite timely now that we have obviously the leading up to Christmas, we've got like the Royal Mail sort of strike and stuff like that, like the Postal Service strike. It's a consideration now where if you're sending something out, a parcel out, you're going to think, if I send it with Royal Mail, it may take 2 weeks to get to that person. If I send it with an independent, it might take 2 days.
Yeah.
Why would you pick Royal Mail right now? You wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's only, and that's only, and the only reason that people do pick Royal Mail still is because they are slightly cheaper. I don't think they're massively cheaper at the moment, but yes, it's because it's been a traditional way of shipping things around. And it's interesting to say that, because talking about, I remember reading a couple of weeks ago about the amount of people who've been let down, if you like, because of the Royal Mail strikes, and they have Christmas businesses where they're delivering stuff, and they're saying that yes, it's difficult for them because they can't afford couriers. So I think we were talking about this earlier, isn't it? I think there's going to be a lot of small businesses that really have to think about their what they're going to have to start paying for in 2023. I think there's going to be a lot of fear in 23. I think because of especially I know I think worldwide, but certainly in the UK we have all these all this rising prices of this, rising fuel delivery times and stuff. So I think there's going to be a lot of fears. I think people are going to be very selective. So I think also in 23, you may find that and I'm not sure if this is going to be possible, but if there's a way of delivering things quickly and inexpensively, that's going to be work well for business owners. But the point I was going to talk about was that customer complaints in this year, and I know I've been I've had a few customer complaints, and I think I think there's been more this year. It's this year you get you complain about something if something's not quite right, or something's taken too long, or something hasn't worked out as you wanted to, and you make a complaint. You get the very trite message, oh, I'm ever so sorry, not normally this is because we're really, really busy, and normally our service is 5-star, da, da, da. But that's becoming a tired message now. That's becoming a really tired message because it's being rolled out time and time again. And you think, hang on a minute. Yeah, I understand that everything is busy, everything's more expensive. So what are you doing about it? And I think customer complaints need to be handled in a way that and I've the reason I'm talking about this is because I just recently wrote a blog on it for somebody, but it's because we can learn from them. But I think the customer needs to be better informed. And actually kind of like, thank you for your complaint. Yeah, I appreciate this is the problem. This is what we're doing about it. And all of a sudden you turn that customer from being someone who's not really happy, who's just about to give you 2 out of 5 stars for a product. And when you come back to them and say, yeah, but this is what we're doing, and this is the time scale, we're trying to get this, they might think, oh, okay. And even if it notches that one up from a 2 to a 3-star, it's a start. But in that customer's head, who's had the complaint and has heard about things are going, they're not going to necessarily be bad mouthing the company. Their conversations they have in their networks, so they're going to be more open to saying, well, I didn't have a particularly brilliant time, but this is what they're doing, and it's a different dimension. I think going from a strategic point of view, like we talked about in 2022, I think there needs to be whether people will embrace it or not, I don't know, but I think there needs to be a better way of handling customer complaints strategically to keep those customers who aren't particularly enamored with your service or business on board. And I think you can do that by engaging with them a bit more. And I know I've gone off on a tangent there, but I just think it's something that I think is.
I think you're right. I think that, you know what, the past 2 years, I think we've seen a lot of this and stuff, and I think we've accepted it.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if you go back, maybe say 4 years ago, right? If you had a complaint, then someone would have been more direct with you as an individual.
Yeah,
right? And they would have been, Mr. Tanner, really sorry that you had this issue.
Yeah,
it's something that doesn't usually happen, but this is our mistake. This has happened, blah blah blah. Obviously through the past 2 years and stuff like that, I think things happened, and we totally understand it. But we've kind of come out of that, right, in a way now where we're past it. Everyone kind of wants to leave that behind them and kind of go, right, this is moving forward. This is what we want to do. Everyone is feeling the pinch in some sort of way where we're kind of seeing that, you know, money isn't going as far as what it used to do and stuff like that. So there's a little nagging thing there where it's just like, look, if I give my time or money to something, I want to be treated like a king. You know?
Exactly.
Is that kind of thing. So like with that, mate, I think you're right to bring it up, because I think something that I would mention about going into 2023, and we mentioned it at the end of the last podcast, and that's what led us into doing this, is we said about being transparent, right?
Yeah.
So I think you be in a business being transparent, but also putting the customer first. I feel like the more kind of customer experience we can give, where it's a unique experience to that customer, I think that will really pay dividends, you know, moving through. And you know what? I don't want to say this in a way where, you know, I'm just saying, look, bigger businesses, because I think, you know, even if you're just like a sole trader, you should look at doing this. But I think the kind of bigger bit, the small business onwards, micro business upwards kind of thing, I think they really need to work on this, because if they work on this, they win. And this is the likes of, you can take a business which is local, maybe it's a micro business, maybe they turn over a couple of million or something like that, several staff. They could beat a massive company, turn over billions with a call center, you know, loads of different call centers around the world. They could beat them just by, you know, looking at this process and everyone being an individual. And if we mess up, we hold our hands up and say, yeah.
And that, I think, is the bit. I just wrote those 2 words down. You said it just a few sentences ago about mistake. It's that ownership. What's happened? What I saw of the last 2 years, people blamed, oh, it was the pandemic. Oh, it was this. Oh, it was that. Oh, it's, you know, it was, times are hard. And they're going to blame, at the moment, of course, people are going to blame the strikes, the postal strike, this. And it's the blaming of saying, well, it's systems out, it's issues out there that are causing me problems, instead of saying, look, we take ownership. We made a mistake. Yes, we know there are postal strikes on, so we should have put it into the post a week earlier. We know that there's a problem here, and so we should have been putting things in place to do it a different way. And so it's been too easy for people just to give away that ownership of owning the problems. That, oh yeah, but normally this wouldn't happen, you know, because of this and you think, and I've had letters back from various from various things. You just look at the letters and think, oh yeah, same old. You just chuck it in the bin. Yeah, of course they're going to say that. And so I think the transparency, like we were talking, is really key. Putting that customer back, feeling it there first. Even the customer that has walked away really disgruntled, that's still an opportunity to get to that customer and say, look, I'm really, really sorry. We messed up. We made a real boob. We're going to take ownership of that. And what we've learned from this, we've had a chat with these people. We've worked out the circumstances, and we think we can improve our process, whatever it is. And this is how we're going to do it. And that, you've got a chance. I'm not saying it's a clear chance, but you've got a chance at making that customer think, do you know what? Okay, I'll try them one more time. And that's the clue, isn't it? Try them one more time.
And do you know what as well?
If you can get people to try your service one more time and it genuinely is improved, you've probably made a better impression that someone had a good service first time round, because you kind of turned that corner and brought them back in again.
Exactly that. And even where you look to limit the risk. So if someone has a unhappy experience and stuff like that, you know, they may go and tell 10 people, they may put it on social media and stuff like that. Just by taking ownership, you can stop that from happening. So even if they don't continue to buy from you again, well, actually, you know, that brand reputation has been saved just because you've gone that extra mile. And that, I think something there to kind of lead on to that as well is that I feel like with businesses, I feel like they have to give staff more freedom, but more responsibility in a way where I feel like they need to let them work with clients, you know, a bit more, go that extra mile, you know, and deal with them. See if they need to do a little bit something extra for that one client, let them go and do it. You know, if they need to go down this road to get to acquire the client, let them go and do it. You know, and the same thing is managing that expectation and stuff like that, is let them kind of do a lot more, because I think I think people still like to buy from people, you know, so even if you're buying from a local business or something like that and they've got employees and stuff, they're still dealing with that one person. Even though that person isn't the business owner, they still need it to be. And you know, I think going about this in a roundabout way as well, I kind of said on that predictions episode, I kind of said, I feel like the kind of marketing agency, I feel like that kind of concept, I think their days are limited.
Yeah, I remember you saying
it will start to fade away. And this is the reason for why. is that you'll get someone, they go and talk a good game to someone, we can do this, we can do that. The person says, yeah, they sign up, and then they just give that work through to an apprentice who isn't as skilled or anything like that, who can just do a standard job. And I don't mean this in any disrespect. In fact, it's probably opposite to the apprentice. I think they do a great job. But that person who's paying for whatever it is that they're paying for, they're not getting the expertise. They're just getting a job done, And I feel like people are getting wise to that, and they kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that there is, if like, okay, you started developing your staff that they can actually do a better job and stuff like that, then they're going to do a better job. They can actually deal with the client. And looking at that from an above the business point of view, well, actually you start making yourself redundant because you're not needed.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, I think it's interesting. There's so many things that popped up there when you were talking. There's a story. Okay, we're both based in Bristol, so a lot of our stories are kind of a Bristol centric or around the area. But there was a bus driver on First Bus, which was down in Weston-super-Mare, so it's just south, a town just south of Bristol. And I can't remember. He drives for First Bus, and he's well known now for helping people. So he drives, and I don't know how First Bus are reacting to this, because he's actually doing a great job for them, although he may be slowing down the bus times. So he sees when he pulls up to a bus stop, and there was one time where I think a couple of days ago, a lady had slipped over with her shopping, and she was at the bus stop or coming to the bus stop. So he stopped his bus, got out, helped her up, got her shopping, put her into the bus without any fare. Said, "Where do you live, my love? I'll take you home." Now, if First Bus heard about that, I imagine he probably might not be working for them for very long. But he's renowned for doing it. And what he's actually doing is, even though First Bus might go, "Oh, he can't do this because he's going off the beaten track," he's attracting people into using First Bus because there's a few different bus services around now, in competition. So he's attracting people to use First Bus. So in a roundabout way, because although First Bus probably haven't given him that responsibility to go the extra mile and help, but by the fact he's doing it anyway, he's actually helping First Bus gain a better reputation than other bus providers. Now, whether First Bus will see it that way, because my first reaction was, having worked in the transport industry for a while, my first reaction was, "Oh, he's going to be sacked soon," because he was going off the route and stuff, because again, complaints. But yeah,
I love that story, because I'm like, I think that's exactly what I'm getting at, right? Is that, and you think of it this way, like you think of someone, maybe they're a bit of an account manager or something like that, maybe a supervisor or something. And look, there's a production line, or you're sort of tasked with doing 5 cases a day, right? Now, if that person can actually bring in 3 new cases a day, but they build up the brand of your business and people are more trusting and everything like that, that is worth more than the 2 extra cases in the long run, right? And it's that kind of thing. So like you said there, I mean, the bus company look at it and they, why are you doing 1 less route a day than the other bus driver? This shouldn't be, and stuff like that. And maybe there are a couple of people who moan and they say, "Oh, I've had to wait an extra 5 minutes," or something like that, right? There will be those people. In the grand scheme of things, I think we did an episode at one point as well, mate, about kind of local business and stuff like that. And I think we both said in there as well, is that we can see things go in that way, where the internet has opened up so many possibilities, and we look for the cheapest option, and we can search and we can do all this stuff. But getting back to that community side, and you buy from the local greengrocers and the local butcher and all this kind of stuff, can really see that really taking off. And I think the more that there are, going back, people buy from people, individuals, transparency, people just being real, people being genuine. I think you mentioned that word on the last podcast, genuine.
Yeah.
I think that to me, I think is my buzzword for 2023. It's just be genuine. If you're at a certain level, you tell people you're at a certain level. Don't try and pull the wool over their eyes and stuff like that. If you can only do a certain job, you can only get them to a certain space, or you can only do something in a certain time. Just be genuine and tell them that. Don't, because I think we're getting to that point now where, again, look, people are getting wise. But people can do anything. The phone that we have, We can find out any information that we want.
Yeah.
We can get any kind of expertise and stuff like that. It's all there. So there's no need to kind of try to lie to
And
anyone or anything like that. And again, that whole kind of thing, I say lie, you may be thinking that, it's just bending the truth, or that whole kind of fake it till you make it kind of thing. But it's more damaging, because you are going to obviously damage that brand, that personal brand, which again is one of those things we mentioned on the last predictions one.
yeah,
Your
yeah.
personal brand is massive.
And I think you're right. You're going back to Jenny. It's that honesty. People appreciate the honesty. If you say, look, um, and I've been in situations before when I've been writing for people, and I've had to say to them, I was writing for a company that dealt with gold investments, um, and I was asked by the owner, so yeah, have you written for this industry before? And I said, no, never, but I'll give it a go. And I said, because really, as ultimately, people are investing in gold. Why? You think about, why are they investing in gold? They're investing in gold at this current time, and you say, well, what could the reason be? And really, it's about fear, because it's a fear of the currency, of inflation going. They want stability. It's the fear that they're losing stability in their lives, and it's that emotion. And I said, it doesn't matter that it's platinum, gold, whatever it could be. It all comes back down to the reader has emotions, and you've got to appeal to that emotion. Whether you could be writing about floods or writing about the whatever, it comes back down to, why is the person doing it? And they're doing it normally in some way. There is some emotion that you can bring back that attract in this. And for me, for somebody investing in gold, is the fear of instability and wants a stable investment in something that is tangible.
Oh,
And
mate, that there, I was going to say no pun intended, but maybe pun intended. That's a gold nugget. Right?
yeah,
Because it
yeah,
is. Like, if we look at marketing, whatever marketing we're trying to do, I've said about it before, mate. That you'll see lots of people. Oh, yeah, they niche down. We're marketers for accountants or something like that. Look, maybe some product knowledge, some industry knowledge is maybe the extra bit. But really, any marketing, it doesn't matter who you're going to be marketing with. You go through those questions with them. So it's why, and
yeah. Why? Yeah,
we go
yeah,
through several levels of why before
yeah,
we actually get to the right thing. So, like you said, that whole kind of gold thing. Oh yeah, it's just rich people who want a different place to invest. Well, actually, when you break it down, well, no, look, people want that security, or
yeah.
an alternative investment and stuff like that. You know, so once you break down that, you get to the emotions. Well, look, that's what we do with any kind of marketing.
Exactly right.
All
Yeah,
we're trying to do
and
is showcase like what we have
yeah,
to the person. So what problems they have, we provide the solution. And again, if we
yeah.
can bring speed into that, even better.
Even better. And the point, going back to the point was, when I said to her, well, I've never written for this market before. I said, but this is the kind of things you need to think about. And I think I don't know whether I don't know if she commented on it, but I got the contract to do it, as opposed to there's lots of other writers. And I think I love to believe that she thought, he's got a point there, and that's a unique point, as opposed to the other ones who just would talk about the mechanics of investment and what kind of money you could make as a return and how stable it is. Yeah, all that stuff is important, and all that stuff people want to know about. But ultimately, the first thing, but then when you're writing it from a clinical point of view, it sometimes doesn't satisfy a lot of people unless you're one of those people who, and as my dad used to be, used to trawl through Witch magazine without any emotion at all. And he always buy this. He would go through months and months of research before he bought something. There's never any emotion involved. And some of the things he bought, especially cars. I remember he buying some really obscure cars. And you think, why did you buy that? It looks horrible. It doesn't drive particularly well, but it fits this. It ticks all these boxes. Well, okay, fair enough. But and it's quite funny because very very few people are an emotion when it comes to buying anything.
And yeah, I think that's a massive thing, mate. Is that and this, do you know what, it's weird to say this, in this kind of way as well. But what we do with marketing, what we do with advertising, what we do with sales, look, we are looking to persuade someone, right? And persuading
Yeah,
isn't a
basically,
bad
yeah,
thing, I think that a lot of people think persuading someone, it means you're trying to make them do something that they don't want to do. we're persuading them that, look, this is a solution to the problem you're having. Is that we actually bring them into seeing it. It's like that thing with, you walk into like a car place now, right? And someone comes up to you and they're asking you questions and everything like that. You think, oh, they're really friendly. But they're not. They're trying to get the information.
Yeah.
They're very good at what they do. They've made you think that they're friendly and stuff like that. When really it's just that process of finding out exactly what it is you're trying to do. So when you actually have that conversation to come to the cell, they can answer your questions.
Yeah.
And they can obviously make you see why this is what you want.
Yeah. And I think that word persuasion, as you say, has got some really has grown some really bad connotations back from the guy when people were talking about persuading people to the sale because this is the best, when it truly wasn't. So I think the persuasion has to have, it's a mixture, isn't it? It's a mixture of persuasion, but also saying, look, we have this. It's factual persuasion, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It's
genuine persuasion.
Again, genuine persuasion. Okay, we're not trying to say don't ignore everybody else and come and buy our stuff, but we're persuading you that we have things that other people don't. But by all means, go and check them out. Don't we're just giving you the case, and we hopefully giving you a persuasive case. But of course, and again, this is the thing I think a lot of people don't realize is that, of course, as soon as that person's off the phone with them, off the phone with you, they're going to be checking everything. They're going to be checking internet. They're going to be looking at other people. They're not stupid. Buyers are sophisticated now. They've got all this information, the biggest library in the world at their fingertips on Google. So of course they're going to check things out. They're not going to just take your word for it. And they're going to look at your reviews. They're going to look at how you do things. They're going to look at things you hadn't even thought about, probably. But you still need to have that persuasion, because it's that persuasion that even puts you into their top 5 list or top 3 list or something. And if you're just saying, again, it comes to, isn't it, benefits versus features. If you give them all the features of something, which may be far more features than someone else has got, they're just features. You've just clinically said da 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 da. But the benefits are, and this is going to, for example, I remember the podcast last week when I talked about the cottage that we hired with the log burner, and having, if they had provided some wood and some kindling, for example, the feature was the log burner, but it's a feature. It's still an inanimate object with nothing in it. The benefit was, and we supply wood, so the first night you get there, you can be sitting down by a lovely warm fire. Wow.
Mate, you imagine that going a little bit further as well, right? You imagine it just being like a little welcome basket with some hot chocolate or something in, or something like that, right? It's just extra bits, isn't it? That you go, okay, I've had a great experience here and stuff, and that's what I mean as well. Where, like, you can look at things where you can go, okay, how can we go this little extra mile? How can we do this with that whole kind of thing of under promise, over deliver, and stuff like that. And we mentioned last week as well. We're talking all about kind of like pricing strategies and stuff like that, and it comes into like pricing. You're just saying there as well, like with I can't think what made me think of it, but it's just thinking with the pricing strategies. We didn't mention this thing, and this comes up a lot, where people say, should I put my prices on my website? Should I show my prices up front and stuff like that? Now, I've always been in a way where I say yes, because I always say, look, put your prices on there, because one, you're being transparent. People can see what it is. If you have difference in pricing and stuff like that, then say from, or average price is this. But what happens there is that you save so much time in dealing with people. So I think what I was coming on to talk about there as well is, like, you see a lot of people, if you go into, again, the social platforms and stuff like that, a lot of people are trying to sell. And look, there's nothing wrong with selling, right? If you put a post on there saying buy my stuff, look, it's fine. You may get people buy it, but if you're just always putting salesy stuff on, people are going to start to switch off. Where if you can get into the kind of entertaining part, you can look to engage, and then you can say buy my stuff. You're going to have a lot better chances that way. But you're still going to be limited in a way where just that post is only going to be able to talk about something, right? You're only going to be able to state the facts, even if you state the benefits. you're still only going to be able to state the facts of those benefits. Where is if you can actually get someone onto a call, or you can get in some sort of environment where you can ask them questions, and this can be you see this, a trend that we're really seeing throughout 2022 is we've seen like these kind of scorecards, these kind of apps pop up where people can create quizzes and stuff like that. It's nothing new. There's just new software in the market that people are using. So it seems like it's a trend, but it's been going on for a good few years now, where that there you can actually get individual responses. So you can find out now that, okay, look, just like you, for example, there, if I was talking with you and maybe I've got a cottage place or something like that I'm looking to rent out, and I'm speaking to you on the phone. Yeah, we stayed at one place and they didn't even supply any of the wood and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. I could be listening to that. And as we get to, look, it's this price, blah, blah. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Tanner, this does include your wood, and we've even got a little welcome basket for you, right? That there, it is going to do so much more for that person to go, okay, I do want this. I do want to go ahead, because they've listened to me and they've answered my questions. I've told them what my problems are. They've given me the solutions. And we can do that through the kind of social stuff. And I think people are lazy at marketing and advertising, that they just want to put stuff out and people just go and buy stuff, where, that there is tough.
And there's just one other, I mean, we'll flog this point to death in a minute, I know, but just one other thing that came out, and it was really interesting. So again, we were looking to go out for our meal. We had an anniversary meal. We had a particular budget we wanted to go to. So we were looking at restaurants and prices. And very, very few restaurants have the menu on the internet and have the prices next to them. And I remember seeing a comment on one of the menus. It said that we don't put our prices of our food on because they can seasonally fluctuate, and you thought, so update the website. Don't tell me that you can't put the prices on. Of course you can. And it just means that maybe every week you just got to go and update the website. But I'm your customer or prospect. Don't say, oh, it's too much hassle. I'll not put the price on, because that's what basically the message was. It's too much hassle for us to put the prices on because we'll have to change them and it may be wrong or something like that. You think, I don't care. I have a budget. I'm looking at different restaurants. And it's just that kind of, like you said, it's that extra mile in the marketing. What if you're thinking about just a simple restaurant? Okay, well, restaurant, we're putting our pictures of our dishes and menus and all the stuff. We glorify it and say, oh, this is an Indian restaurant, for example, how wonderful the spice of this food is, or Italian restaurant. Put your prices on, because people are going to look at that and say, well, they're going to look at all these things and say, great, I wonder how expensive it is, or how whatever price it is. And if you say, these are premium dishes and it's 30 quid a main meal or so, then great, people are going to go for it. Other people aren't. But as you said, you save so much time.
And that is massive, right? Because that's a great way of looking at it, because I think I was looking at it in a way of, like, this used to be a tactic with coaches.
Yes.
So what they would do is they would say, look, we're not going to put our prices on because you have to inquire. So that now we have your details, or we can get you onto a call and we can convince you that you need our service. It's that kind of thing. But obviously the downside to that is that you waste so much time dealing with people, the tire kickers, the ones that don't have the money, available or stuff like that, or even you haven't built up that know, like, and trust. You haven't built up that value, intrigue, and desire. There's no authority there yet for you to command that price. There's all these kind of things in there where you can be talking to several people a day and no one go ahead. Whereas if you just kind of put your prices there and you can say, look, this is the price, let's have a conversation, 1 out of 2 may convert. It's that kind of thing. So that whole kind of, again, look, I think that it would boil stuff down. I think transparency and stuff like that. And that thing there that you said with the restaurants, mate, to me, right, I think this is a big takeaway. Restaurants takeaways. Good. This is a big takeaway, right, for people to look at in 2023, right, is that there will be bigger consideration over spend. Right now, we've seen this, in the past 2 years, right? Now, let's take marketing for an example, right? 6 years ago, there'd be a company that they see something, maybe a bit of that kind of shiny object syndrome. Oh yeah, a bit of SEO. Yeah, we'll chuck some money at that. A bit of paid advertising. Yeah, we'll chuck some money at that. What, you've got a little magazine? Yeah, we'll do this. TV advert. Okay. You know, all of a sudden they're up at, you know, tens of thousands of pounds, right?
Mm.
But you know, it's good days that the sun's shining, everything's fine, right? We're obviously seeing what happened in the past 2 years, and people started going, okay, let's really look at, do we need this? You know, how much should we pay for that and everything like this? Well, look, we're going to see this moving forward into 2023. There's no, you know, there's no way to sugarcoat it. You look on the newspapers, or people talking around, you know, prices are going up, times are tough. People are going to look at where they're spending the money. We've talked about on podcasts before. We said, look, okay, look to save money, but look at where you can make money, because you know, you can only save to a certain amount. You can only tighten your belt to a certain amount. You know, you need to look at ways to make money, and we'll go on to that in a minute, because I think there is a massive opportunity for you in 2023 to make money online. But the point now is that whatever it is that you offer, you have to make it really appealing to people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to look at something like a menu and go, "This looks nice, but if we go into this restaurant and it's like, you know, £60 a meal or something like that, we can't afford that."
Yeah.
So we're just not going to go in, because we don't want to put ourselves in that situation.
Yeah.
And it's the same as, look, you could have a great product, but if you're not marketing it in the right way, if you're not getting that message across, that framing, people aren't going to buy, because it's going to be like, well, you know, there's no difference over what I've tried before or what I've done over there. You know, so it's going to be, you know, that consideration is going to get bigger. You know, so I think, like, you know, and I know I spoke to you about this, Mark, where I think in 2023, we're going to see the people who have been in business over the past however many years, and they've been seeing growth, they've, you know, yearly growth, quarterly growth, whatever it is, I think they will tick on just fine.
Yeah.
Right? I think they have a massive opportunity where they can pick up market share, they can simplify things, they can grow within the next couple of years massively. But I think the people who have been ticking along, the people who have been hit and miss, you know, feast or famine, all that kind of stuff, I think those people will struggle if they don't get the right kind of processes in place and actually go after it.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's going to be, the market's going to be a lot more severe, isn't it, in 2023? And it won't be as, you know, people say it hasn't been very kind up to now, but it won't be very kind. In the pandemic stuff, I know that really was crucified a lot of people. But the people that managed to come out of that well were the people who adapted. And again, in 2023, people are going to have to adapt. Business owners are going to have to adapt their business. Even the bigger ones, I think, will still have to adapt as well. But I think it's an adaptation and bringing in ways of becoming more resilient, which I've deliberately said that. So it leads us into 2023 and making more money as opposed to saving. Because as you said, you know, like we said, we talked about, you can only save so much. I know that there was a mentor of mine ages back said you should be as excited about saving money as you are about making money. Great, but making money can be unlimited. Saving money is very, very limited. You get to the stage, as many people have found with their fuel bills and stuff, they've got to the stage that they can't make any more saving. They just cannot afford the fuel bills. And I'm seeing that through the stuff I do with debt coaching and things as well, which I do elsewhere. But it's, you can only save so much. So you get to that, you save, you're down at the bottom, and then you've got more stuff coming in. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to become resilient? And the only way to do that is to say, right, what strategies can I put in place? Side hustles, whatever you like to call them. Mm-hmm. What things can I put in place to start increasing my income other than my main income stream that can only produce or only seems to produce this much?
And that's massive, isn't it? Is that my income stream only seems to hit this amount, and I think we see that with a lot with people who are employed.
Yes.
Or, you know, they've been in business for a little while and they keep hitting that ceiling and they never jump through it. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, look, if you're not going to go all in to make sure that you can jump through that ceiling, then you need to look at alternatives. Now, if we go back a good, like 2 years ago or 18 months ago, whatever it was, we were quite bullish on this thing, which I called the digital reboot.
Yeah.
And what we looked at there is like, look, we've seen people being forced into working from home, working online, doing all the stuff online, right? You know, you go back 3 years ago, you try to get someone on a meeting online like this, it wasn't happening. You know, people just didn't embrace technology at the time. It's only been the last few years where that people really embraced internet marketing. We'll come on to that in a minute, but you know, people wouldn't do this stuff. Zoom, Zoom's been around for years, but people only heard about it 18 months ago,
Yeah.
right? It's like, and now it's like it's a commonplace. I know people have returned, to the workplace. We'll go into that in a minute, but that digital reboot is that people have opened up. Yes, okay, I understand now how I can do meetings online. I can I can send more emails. I can do video chats on my phone, voice notes. I can do learning online and everything like this. Is that they become really acceptable, and it's like, okay, people have embraced this. This wasn't predicted until another kind of few years from now that people would actually get to this stage, but we're at it. We got to it. So there's a
Yeah.
massive and all the kind of all the industries around kind of like online education, online shopping, all this kind of stuff. Their predictions just rocketed because people are
Yeah.
just like, there's going to be more users, in place, which it has, and everything's gone phenomenal. So it's been the right time to get involved. Now, what we have seen especially in the past 6 months, right, is we've seen the marketplace filter out. And what we've seen now is we've seen people who maybe were in business before, the whole kind of pandemic. They decided now that they're not going to continue with their business. They're going to go and get another job or something like that. There may be people who just set up a bit of a sideline in the pandemic, but decided now, okay, I'm going back to full-time work. It's eliminated the competition. So as much as you may go into a platform and you see lots of salesy stuff and everything like that, it's still a lot less than what it was a year ago. And
Yeah.
for that, you have an opportunity now that if you are better at marketing, you will stand out. People will come to you. People will do what you can do. And this is why I think for me, 2023, I think, mate, I haven't really thought about what to call it, but I think I'm probably just talking now. It's like the internet marketing reboot. It's
Yeah.
like going back 10 years ago, more than that, but 10 years ago when I was probably peaking in my internet marketing sort of time, that kind of career that I was kind of, making money online and all this kind of stuff. I think we see that opportunity now because there will be people who maybe they were a little bit lazy, or maybe they were a little bit comfortable. That's the main word. Maybe they were comfortable a few years ago. They're not interested in making, an extra 100, £200 online, so they were fine, a few years ago. But now they want to earn an extra 100, £200 a month online. Well, you can quite easily do that. And we did an episode a few episodes ago on ways to make money. And we looked at things like affiliate marketing. We
Yeah.
looked at things like selling courses and stuff like that. The prediction from last year, I talked about fractional content. So like fractional content is, look, if you do a course, it doesn't need to be like a 3-day course. You could do a course which lasts 10 minutes and people will buy that because it takes less commitment from them in a time frame to actually get the result that they want. Again, coming back to speed and stuff like that, is that you can actually, create small fractional pieces of content that people buy, that you can make money from. The whole kind of affiliate marketing stuff, there are people out there that want you to sell their stuff for them. You don't need to speak to anyone. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to spend any money. You can just start selling what it is that they offer and you can start making a commission and earn money. And it's like, I think there's probably been no better time that I can remember. And like, man, I've been in internet marketing for more than a decade. All right. I think there's no better time than today that if you want to make an extra, couple of £100, maybe even 500, maybe even 1,000 a month, I think there's no better time than to do it now.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because, like I said to you before, earlier on, was that I've noticed uh, quite, quite, quite a few who I consider would be big, sort of big names on the internet, are now offering affiliate marketing packages for special projects that they're doing. Free to join, free to get in there. Use this giving the opportunity for affiliate marketing because they know that people are struggling and they know that they have the means to put this out there for people to take on. So I think affiliate marketing, it will have a say a rebirth. It's never gone away, but it went down a bit of a lull, didn't it? I think now that people are going to think, especially as you say, those who've dropped out of business because they think it's just too hard at the moment. I can't handle this. And there's jobs around, so they've now gone into a job. It's paying them a certain salary, but they know that income, that's what all the strikes are about, isn't it? The income isn't going to rise that much, and costs are rising higher. So now they think, right, okay, I've got an income, I've got a stable base. What do I need now? I need an extra couple. I need an extra couple of hundred a month because my income covers this, but I need to cover all the rest of this stuff and still have a life. So yeah, I'll get a little bit more income to cover the extra rise of living, but then I've got a bit more income so I can actually still have a life. And of course, and having a life means that if you go, so I can go out for a meal. So you're helping out the restaurant owner, you're helping out other people because you're buying their products. So it's almost essential to a lot of people to be able to still not just live to exist, but live to have a life and actually be able to spend money out in their local community because it benefits everybody.
Yeah, there's that big thing, isn't it, as well, that like most people die at 25. It just takes another 50 years before they get buried, you know?
Yeah,
And it's like that there is like having some sort of passion, something that you work on, you know? And I've said this before, I've said it to you, I've said it on like one of the episodes. It's like, look, mate, there is no better feeling, right, than you waking up on the morning and you've got a notification on your phone that someone's paid you throughout the night for something that you've done, like, you know, whether it's an affiliate commission, you sold a course or something like that. You're just like, I made money whilst I slept.
yeah.
Right? That there is insane, right? But like you said there, right? Affiliate marketing, right? Like it's never gone away. It's always been there, right? There have been people that have made insane amounts of money, right? Insane amounts over the years and stuff like that, right? What happens is it comes into effort. It comes into, you have to want it. Now, what we've seen in that whole kind of affiliate side is that, you know, someone may have say someone has a course and it's £100, right? £100, and they're going to pay 20%, right? So £20, $20. Someone goes, yeah, I'll sign up to be an affiliate. They start doing a bit of stuff, right? And they only sell one or two, and they make their £40, their $40, and they're like, this isn't really worth it, you know, and they give up there and then. Whereas if they kind of worked on that for another kind of 3 months, they might be selling 10 a month, they might be selling 20 a month and stuff like that, right? But because that effort in the beginning, you know, they've only made a little amount, it's not a necessity, they're quite comfortable and stuff like that. So that effort isn't there for them to continue. Whereas now, you know, and this, man, it sounds horrible to actually say this, but it's the best word to use, right? It's people are hungry.
Yeah.
And, you know, because people are hungry, people are going to like, okay, look, what do I need to do? And like I said, it's no better time to do, you know, some sort of online marketing to earn money, you know, whether that's affiliate or selling your own stuff, because nearly everyone has a phone and that's all you need. You know, that's
exactly.
all you need basically to be able to do it. And look, I'm just quick plug. Like if you listen to this going, yeah, okay, I get it, but how? What do I do? Where do I make a start? We've got the Internet Marketers Toolbox, is $8.99 a month. There's like over 100 resources in there, different courses, stuff on affiliate marketing, stuff on creating your own products, all this kind of stuff. Go to the onejmj.com. So that's THE, the number one, jmj.com. Just get started. You can cancel at any time. You just go in there, get all the stuff. There's templates. Or just go and check it out. You'll see anyway, right? But the reason I say that is like, look, you have to make a start. You have to do something. You have to take some sort of action to get started, to actually make it happen. Because, you know, we just did the episode like last week as well on regret. And it's like, don't get 6 months down the line. Don't get to this time next year and go, yeah, I wish I would have did something now. It's been a tough year.
Yeah.
And I guess that leads in nice. Like, you know, we were looking at doing an episode, you know, that is between kind of Christmas and New Year, that we're going to look at goal setting.
Yeah.
And like I said, people have to taking action, wanting to want it, but like you have to know where you're trying to get to be able to get there, right? So you have to set those goals and stuff like that and look to align them. So I reckon what we'll do, we'll bring this episode to a close.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
And what I will say is, obviously, look, we've been through a bit of a review of the predictions, but I would go and listen to that episode. Okay, so it's between episode 37 and 38. It was like a special episode that we did, and we looked at speed, we looked at online marketing, we looked at brand, we looked at data retention, owning your audience. We looked at fractional content. We looked at video. We looked at I can't even remember what else we looked at now. But the reason I'm saying go listen to it is because it's all still relevant. It's all still stuff that it's just a masterclass in strategic marketing, strategic business growth, where you go, yeah, okay, I can adapt this, however, to my kind of way of doing things. I'll probably say but listening to the episode, the one thing that I would kind of say that didn't really match up to what I reckon that was going to really take over was the whole kind of AI AR sort of stuff.
Ah, right, okay, yeah.
Now, I feel that really it hasn't been adopted by the mainstream. I think it's still there, that it's still going to be coming, but I don't think we've really seen it over this year. But I think there's something there that will be coming. But yeah, look, go and listen to that episode because it is just so valuable. And just say, look, thank you for watching this video.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I guess we have to say Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
That one. Hope you have a good one and stuff like that. We've got the episode then coming between Christmas and New Year, so the Thursday between. We're going to look at goal setting and get you all set up ready for the best 2023 that you can have. So yeah, look, we'll look to see you then.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Have a good Christmas, everybody.
See you, Mark. See you then.
Yeah, always. Okay, cheers.